Hello, and welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday Podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Johnson, and today we're celebrating a milestone, episode number 75. I can't think of a better topic to mark this moment than shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset, starting with our homes. If you've ever felt guilty about letting go of a gift or struggled to part with something expensive you no longer need, today's episode is for you. Together, we'll uncover why we cling to these things, how they affect our mindset, and how to create a home that reflects who you are now. Let's start by defining a scarcity mindset. What is it? At its core, it's the belief that there's never enough. It can make us feel like we have to hold on to everything because we might not be able to replace it, or because it feels wasteful to let it go. This mindset often shows up in our homes. We keep gifts we feel obligated to hold on to, expensive purchases that don't serve us anymore, items tied to an old version of ourselves. Scarcity convinces us to fill every corner, drawer, and closet just in case. But abundance teaches us that when we make space physically and mentally, better things can flow into our lives. This episode really resonates with me because I did a closet cleanse the last few days and I donated some really nice, expensive items that I was holding on to and a few gifts that I had been holding on to, but I wasn't using them. It was hard to let those things go. And I was feeling very emotional when I was dropping off my items. But today I feel so much freer and lighter because somebody else is going to be able to use those items that I just had sitting around. Now let's talk about those guilt-laden items, the decorative vase from a friend, the sweater your grandmother knitted, or the souvenir from a vacation. These things were given with love, but if they're sitting in storage or collecting dust, are they really serving their purpose? Here's a mindset shift for you. When you let go of a gift, you're not rejecting the person who gave it to you. You're honoring the intention behind the gift by passing it on to someone who will use and enjoy it. Let me give you a personal example. I once held on to a set of china my grandparents gave to me many years ago. I don't formally entertain with china place settings any longer, and they have sat in my cupboard for years. When I was living at the beach, I had loaned them to a friend who used them for Easter holidays for several years. And she returned them to me when she was doing a kitchen model, and she was downsizing herself after her kids had left the house. I got them back and found a place to store them, and then made the decision, even though letting go of them wasn't easy. But when I donated them, I imagined someone hosting a beautiful dinner party with those place settings. That thought felt far better than keeping them out of obligation. I took some beautiful pictures of the place settings and I plan to upload them to a keepsake app along with other keepsakes I've taken photos of. And I want to hold on to those memories in one place. Now, I want to talk about those expensive items related to scarcity thinking. These are the things you spent a lot of money on. The KitchenAid mixer you never use, the designer shoes that pinch your feet, or let's say the treadmill that's become a glorified coat rack. It's tempting to keep these items because we feel we need to get our money's worth, right? But here's the reality. The money is already spent. Holding on to the item doesn't bring that money back. Instead, it takes up space, both physically and emotionally, that could be used for things you truly love and use. By letting these items go, you're not losing value, you're reclaiming it. Someone else will treasure them, and you'll gain the freedom of a lighter, more intentional space. The point is to create a space you love. So let's get practical. Ask yourself this. Do I love it? Do I use it? If the answer to both is no, it might be time to let it go. I want to give you some abundant thoughts to help you through this process. I trust that I will always have what I need when I need it. My life is filled with enough, and I am enough. By letting go, I'm making space for new blessings to enter my life. When I give generously, I create abundance for myself and others. Almost every object is replaceable. Imagine how freeing it would feel to walk into a home where every item brings you joy or serves a purpose. That's abundance in action. One of the most beautiful parts of embracing abundance is the opportunity to give generously. When you donate or gift items you no longer need, you're spreading abundance to others. For example, that expensive KitchenAid mixer could become the highlight of someone else's kitchen, a tool that brings joy to their baking adventures. The shoes you never wear might make someone feel confident and stylish. Generosity reminds us that we live in a world of plenty, not lack. The more we give, the more we reinforce the belief that there's always enough to share. Here's a challenge. This week, choose one thing to give away, something you've been holding on to out of guilt or obligation. Notice how it feels to release it and imagine the joy it might bring to someone else. Let's bring this idea to life with a practical exercise. Choose one category to declutter, like your wardrobe, kitchen gadgets, or sentimental items. Step 2, hold each item and ask, does this add value to my life now? If I were to purchase this object today, would I purchase it? Would I own it? Would I love it? Step 3 is to sort your items into keep, donate, or let go with gratitude piles. And step 4 is to reflect on the space you've created and how it feels. I've decluttered over the years, especially the last 10 years. And I plan to go through parts of my home and declutter again to see if I'm holding on to things because of the expense of the item or if it was a gift and I feel obligated to keep it. If it's not being used now and it's not adding value to my life now, then I plan to let it go and give it to somebody who will use it. When you let go of scarcity and embrace abundance, it changes more than your home. It changes your life. You start believing that your needs will always be met, and you stop clinging to things that weigh you down. If you've been struggling to lose 5 pounds, I'll bet if you lighten the load of your house and begin releasing things, you'll see those 5 pounds drop as well. It all catapults onto other things in your life. And here's a thought to close with. Abundance is not about having more. It's about trusting that you already have enough. Thank you for joining me on this special 75th episode of The Extraordinary Everyday. I hope you feel inspired to create a space and a life that's aligned with your abundant mindset. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend or leave a review. It helps me reach more amazing listeners like you. Until next time, here's to creating extraordinary lives, one intentional choice at a time. Thank you, friends, for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out More You, my community of like-minded women. We show up to create the highest version of ourselves and elevate the quality of our everyday along the way. Head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/join. That's ontraclifecoaching.com/join. I'd love to see you in there. And if you haven't grabbed your copy of the Mindset Makeover, head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/makeover and get a copy that teaches and inspires you to show up as your most extraordinary self.